Hello to the broadcast audience, going live on radio in 1 minute. So just hang on while we talk to our audience and get them ready. 10 minutes left, 10 seconds left. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ivan Fiyun, and you're listening to the Ministry Media Show here on Rainbow Gospel Radio, Missions Radio for the World. We're very excited to have you on the show today, and today is the first show for the year. And so we are very excited to be sharing with you everything that God will be doing this year. I'm very excited because I want to take you on a different journey this moment. So I want to give a big shout out to all our regular listeners. We love you and we thank you for all the support all this time. And what we're going to do this year, I think, until God changes it, is my 2021 is going to be about being more intentional, about impacting people on a higher level, on a greater plane. And so for the last year, I've brought in a lot of interviews onto the show where we spoke about ministry media and people doing great things all over the world. But this time, I think, until God says otherwise, what I believe we're going to do is we're going to intentionally have a class here on Rainbow Gospel Radio where we're going to help you, because we're a missions radio station, right? And so we're going to be intentional about equipping you for media ministry. And I really feel a very strong call to that. And I believe that's what God wants us to do here on the show going forward. Now, I want to ask you a favor. We're about to go into great things. I'm going to share with you what God's been doing and what God's been sharing with me the last couple of while. And what I want you to do is I want you to help us let people know what we're going to do. Okay, so for the next, say, 3 minutes, I want to encourage you to go to a ministry or a person that you feel has a call on their life, but they don't know necessarily how to start their ministry, how to work with media to get their message out. They are frustrated. They are maybe first year Bible college, and I want you to go and do a couple things. I want you to share with them this radio station address, rainbowgr.com. I want you to share it with someone and tell them to get on the call, because we're going to go and we're going to teach and we're going to equip you for ministry. And we want to empower you to get your message to the world. I believe very strongly that you have a message. I believe there are many Christians, believers out there with a message that don't necessarily have a platform at the moment where they can share it with people. And so I want you to invite those people to this broadcast today. For the next 2-3 minutes, I want you to go and share with them the web address, rainbowgr.com, so they can go and click on the play link and listen to this broadcast today. If you want to watch the feed, we are live broadcasting as well. And just say hello to all the live video feed and those watching via video. A very warm welcome to the broadcast today. We are broadcasting. If you want to watch the feed, there's a couple ways that you can do that. You could go to our Facebook page, Ministry Media Mastery, or Ivan Fiyun Ministry Media Mastery. You could go watch the live video feed of this broadcast there. And while you're there, why don't you create a watch party? Why don't you share it with someone, tag someone in the comments below and tell them what's going to happen. Also, if you want to, you can go to YouTube right now, go to Ministry Media Journey, and you can go and watch this live broadcast on Ministry Media on YouTube as well. Ministry Media Journey, and you can engage with us there. We love your engagement and your comments. We want you to please engage with us. You can also send me a voice note. Go to send me a voice note on WhatsApp. For the international viewers and listeners, this is the number: +27 84 8644 618. I want you to share me a voice note. If you want to share a voice note, send me a voice note and ask me questions. Tell me what God's doing in your life through your media ministry, and that's what we're going to do in the next couple of weeks, as far as I possibly can. So are you ready? I want you to please go ahead and to those channels where you can watch our feed live. That is on YouTube, Ministry Media Journey. Go watch our YouTube broadcast right now. You could also go to Ivan Viljoen Ministry Media Mastery on Facebook. Is a Facebook page. We are live there as well. You can go and connect with us there. If you want, you can also, later on, you could go to Ministry Media Success. It's a Facebook group dedicated to helping ministries increase. And so I want to ask your participation, and I want to ask you to help us to get our broadcast promoted today, because we are going to go deep into how does this work, why is it important, etc. And it's very, very excited. So while we wait for that to happen, we are going to, let me just quickly do something. I want to just check, I want to open up our radio feed and see that everything's good and everything's going on. But while I'm doing that, I want to encourage you. Why I want to share with you those feeds and those streams that we are busy doing. There you go and leave comments, ask questions, and we can see them and we can engage with you there. So would you do that? Would you go and just engage with us and let us know who you are, what are you doing, what is your journey, etc. While we are live on the radio right now, and we want to engage with you today. And so I'm still calling this the Ministry Media Show, but we're going to do a class every Monday at 12 o'clock. We're going to do a class. So it's great. My show is, I think it's great timing, because it's right in the middle of your day. It's lunchtime kind of, or you can go and change your lunchtime for 12 o'clock. So you can participate, you can listen and engage with us here. Just give me a second. I just want to check the live feed. Wonderful. Okay, so I've checked the stream, everything's good. And so let's go straight into what we want to achieve today. I want to share with you where I am, what am I looking at, what am I passionate about, and how do I want to take you on the journey with me. And I want to help you really do what God has called you to do. And the reason why I'm passionate about this is because, let me share a little bit of my story. I got saved 2004 and immediately had a passion for ministry. I just wanted to preach and go out and do stuff and minister and all those kind of things. And you know what happened, right? I went to my pastor and I said, what do I do? And he said, well, you got to go to Bible college first, which I greatly respect. And I think that foundation has been great for me. I've just finished my second round of Bible college. So I got 6 years of Bible college behind me. And I think that's a great thing to do. And if you're a new believer and you want to go and use media as a platform for your ministry, then I highly encourage that you do that, just so that you can get the foundations right and that you know what it's all about, etc. Media, why media? So relating to that story that I wanted to tell you, I went to Bible college, and not long after that, I started serving at a church and was exposed to a lot of media elements, which is great. I started. We started working with the cameras, broadcasting to TBN. There was a lot of amazing things that we were involved in, and looking back, all the experience and the things that I've seen and that I realized today, I realized that. Let me just got something that I want to just. Over the device here. It's connected somewhere else. Okay, so the reason why I'm so passionate about what I'm speaking about today is because I believe that every believer have been called for such a time as this. I believe that every believer has a message, and so having a message, I think at the end of the day is there's a frustration because God deposits into us potential. He deposits into us great things, and he gives us revelations, and he shows us things all the time. And so I remember as a young believer, I was very frustrated because I just wanted to go and preach, and I just wanted to go lay hands on people, etc. And so having been on both sides, I respect the clergy. I respect protocol. I respect the way that things are supposed to work. And so what I'm talking about today, and what I've been talking about for a couple years now, is that you could use media, and that includes a lot of different things. It includes video, it includes audio, it includes text, it includes visual art. There are so many media formats that you can use to glorify God and to spread and to speak and to share the message that God has given you. And that is what I want to talk about in this class, this class every week. And I want to help you as a listener just be equipped to do amazing things, and just to bless the world. And it's very important because if we look at the news feeds on Facebook, and we look at all the things that we are exposed to on a daily basis on social media, it's just, there's so much negativity, there's fake news, there's remorse, there's a lot of things that's not conducive to positivity, to a healthy mindset, to a renewed mind. And so I almost want to make this call in my ministry to people that have seen the light, that had experiences with God, and just to go and say, hey, this is my message. This is what I believe. This is what God has shown me. This is what happened to me, And there's lots of I've been watching a lot of the prominent media ministries really make a lot of mistakes and a lot of things that's just like gives the enemy and the heresy hunters and the people that want to criticize, Christ and criticize everything that we're doing. They are given ammunition because we treat this call not with the respect that we should treat it with. And what happens is there's this disdain that's created for what we do and what we're about. And so let me start by saying this. If you're going to go into media ministry, right? If we go into various doctrines that we might not even understand, if we go into, the prophetic is a very dangerous place to go into using media. If we go into, or anything that's spiritual, we got to remember that the Bible says that natural mind cannot understand spiritual things. And so anytime that we bring spiritual things across, I believe that prophetic ministry and spiritual things, those things should be shared in closed communities where people are there for a specific thing. The only thing that should be public ministry is, and even for that, you'll still get persecuted, is your testimony. No one can argue with your personal testimony. Nobody can argue with what's happened in your life. If it's sound and biblical, there's just nothing that can be said against that. And the second thing is obviously the gospel. I think every effort that's spent in creating media should be to preach the gospel and to get the lost saved. I think that's very, very important. And so as we endeavor to do that, I think there's a great responsibility. I always said on the show that there's a great responsibility to create content. There's a great responsibility to share your voice, share your message. And there's a great responsibility to make sure that we're strong so that we can endure, that we can keep on going, that we have faith in what we do. I had a call last night with the pastor and they were doing live streaming, and I was very blessed to be part of that, and especially in the back end and behind the scenes, etc. And so I said to them, technical difficulties is probably always going to happen. It's part and parcel of the whole thing, and you just manage it as much as you can, the best you can. And so you got to sharpen your skills, and you got to sharpen your delivery and your preparation, etc. And so as you do that, you're always going to have difficulties. And as you experience those difficulties are a test. Are you going to give up because it's too difficult, or you don't have all the tools and the equipment that you need, etc.? And so I think that's where the big test comes from. And so as I've used that as an introduction for today, I want to share with you the four pillar framework that we teach to ministries, and how that forms part. And so maybe let me start by sharing the 5 mistakes that I believe ministries make on their media channels. That's a good start. That's a good place to jump off with. And as we've just gotten started, I want to encourage you again. If you feel that there's someone that needs to hear this teaching and that wants to be part of this class, they have a message that they don't know how to share it. They don't know. I want you to go and do a couple things. One is you can share with them the rainbowgr.com website address. They go and listen to the show right there. The second thing that you could do is you could go and download the Rainbow World app, and in that you will find the stream for Rainbow Gospel Radio. The third thing I want to encourage you is, I haven't done it for a while, but I'm doing it today, and broadcasting the show live, and I'm doing it solo. There's a lot of awesome dynamic in having people on board, and I'm working on a solution to use my usual live streaming or live broadcasting platform and somehow hooking it into my software here. That would be ideal. We'll get there, because I want to get people live into the show, and we do live coaching, and we'll talk about that, where we had previously had experts coming in. And I don't want the interview format to necessarily change, but I definitely want to do what I feel God wants us to do. And if you want to watch the live streams, you can go to Ministry Media Mastery on Facebook. It's a Facebook page currently live there, and we also have on YouTube, Ministry Media Journey. You can go and click there, and you should see the live broadcast there as well. Let me just check that out. And then on Facebook, I want to encourage you, please go and create a watch party so people can get this information. Please go and maybe share the stream with someone, share it on your page, etc. So you can do that. And yeah, I see on the YouTube channel it's live right now, so you can go and do that. And then what you can also do is you could just tag someone in the comments and tell them, hey, watch this, this will help you, or whatever. We really appreciate you. So you can form part of the growth here at the show and just encouraging people. So let's go and get into it. The 5 mistakes that ministries make on their media channels. And I'm going to reverse this around because my main point is going to be the last one. Okay, so let's talk about ministries don't collaborate with each other. That's something that I've really tried to model here on the show, is to show you that, listen, look at all the value that comes out when we have people coming in the conversation and adding value through their perspectives and their experiences. I have a very, very deep teaching on this, and we'll maybe dedicate a show on collaboration specifically. But collaboration is so powerful. And why don't people collaborate in ministries as much as they should or they could? And a lot of times it probably is the 2 hurdles to effective leadership. That's a framework that I have. And one of them is pride. So it is a lot of times, especially in digital media, what we do is we look at someone else's audience. I had that a couple of times where I invited someone to an interview and they looked at my channel and they said, this channel is not as big as mine. They don't have as many views as I am. So let's just decline politely this interview. And it's sad because I believe collaboration is one of the ways that we, number one, cannot just 10x our own platforms, but that we can 10x our the whole kingdom message. A lot more people can hear it. And so when I teach about collaboration, we'll do it in one of the shows. You'll see that there are so many benefits to collaborating with others. In simple terms, the audience that participates in the collaboration, they are the winners. They are the people that really get a lot of value out of that. And so collaboration is your first mistake. They don't collaborate with other ministries. The second mistake is we don't create communities. We don't focus on developing communities. And so this is such an important part of my thesis, if you will, that the last, say, month, I've created this group and I invite you to go and join it. It's called Ministry Media Success. It's also the name of a webinar that we do regularly. And so Ministry Media Success is a Facebook group that I created. And it's been living about 4 weeks. But very blessed that we are over 200 people that's already members on there. And so they post their videos, etc. And we give them feedback and we help them and we give them tips, etc. And so ministries, community is a big part of effective ministry. And so digital media and tech can give you a lot of tools to manage and develop your community. And so community, these 4 pillars would be something that forms a part of the community. It's got a big portion of that is going to be content that you share, right? And we're going to get to that in a moment. You're going to share content with them. You're going to keep on encouraging them. It's going to be live videos, etc. But your community, you need to find out, what does your community need that they're not currently getting? What do they need from you? And often there's this golden mix that happens the moment that we realize this is what I have to give and this is what my community needs, and those merge together, an effective ministry happens, right? The next 2 pillars I'm going to share together. I'm going to mix them around. The first one is content. So content is very important that we use that as a tool to grow our media platform. Now, media and content is synonymous with each other. So you can't really have a media platform without content going out. But and when we talk about content, maybe we'll do it in the show today. We're going to talk about what kind of content do you need to create. All right. And the content that we create, that conversation is going to lead us in the number one mistake that we're going to lead into the discussion today. The content can be in various formats. It can be video, it could be audio, whatever you're comfortable with. But the third pillar is the fourth pillar, or the fourth pillar is consistency. So we need to create content, and that needs to go out consistently. And when we do that, that is when we increase the visibility of our message. That's when we increase the visibility of our ministry. We build trust, we build credibility, and that becomes really powerful. And so, having shared with you those four, and those really form the four pillars of our ministry, but it's not all the mistakes. So let's go through them again. It's content, consistency, community, and collaboration. Four pillars to a successful ministry media platform, which leads us into the biggest mistake that ministries make. And that's a good starting point. Let's talk about advertising. Ministries make a big mistake by just creating advertising ads. If you run Facebook ads or ads on YouTube and you've got no content in your backbone or in your library that people can go and consume, because that way they get to know who you are and they get to learn about you, and they learn who you are, and they learn your values, your goals, your vision through the content. And if you don't have that, then an ad is really a big waste of time. We also teach that if you are creating ads, ad takes a lot of time. It takes conceptualization, it takes creative, it takes resources, it takes money, it takes time, it takes your team. And so we believe that if you take the time that you would spend on an ad campaign and put it into content, you will have much greater much greater return on all your efforts. And so let's talk about advertising. The reason why advertising doesn't work, right? And here's a whole portion on it. Let's delve into this. Number one, like I said, ads, your time, your energy, your resources, your funds could be better used in creating content than putting it into advertising. Advertising is great if you already have a consistent content strategy and visibility, and now you go do a call to action, like for instance, join our class, come to our conference, come and see the speaker, etc. You've already built trust, you've already built you've already built credibility, you've already had your visibility, and now is the time to share, or now is the time to ask. My mentor had a book out. He says, give, ask. And that's why community is so important, because we learn what to give as value to people once we have a community that we serve and respond to. And as soon as that happens, then we have this big, awesome thing that happens. People are really getting blessed. There's lots of amazing things that's coming out of that. And so let's delve into ads a little bit more. Advertising, what happens if you share your advertising, right? Let's say you have a program. Let's say there's an Easter conference, an Easter play, and you create an ad for that, right? The best way to really promote that, and I'm going to share with you what can you do other than ads, which is kind of advertising the whole thing, but it's not an advertisement. And so let me say I've spent creative time. I have gone and I've created a script. We've done voiceovers, we've done acting, we've got the actors, and we've done the whole process to create a really great ad for our Easter play. And 6 weeks before I play that in my service, I put it on my social media. Let's pause there for a moment. That is a big mistake. Ministries use their Facebook, their YouTube, their Instagram as a platform to just put ads out, a distribution channel, outward marketing, if you will. And it doesn't work as effectively as, for instance, content would. And so if you go and put out your ads, let's say 6 weeks before you begin your campaign, you've got this one ad, you put it out. What happens is after 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops, people become blind to it. It doesn't matter where you put it. If you put it on social media, if you play it in your service, wherever, they call it ad blindness. People don't see your ad anymore, and so it becomes ineffective. And so you can see how you're wasting a lot of your time on that. There's a creative tax on advertising, and I explained it a little bit more. I explained it a little bit already. If I were to create a really great ad, I'm going to have to storyboard it. I'm going to have to conceptualize it. I'm going to have to sit with all the stakeholders and discuss what is the objective of this ad. What do we want to achieve? How are we going to achieve it? What's our message? Those kind of things. Then you go and write the script. You write it out completely. You write out a storyboard. What is this ad going to look like? And when you've done that, then you have to go and find your actors or your voice actors, your voiceover artist, whatever the case may be. Then you have to go into production. You have to go and actually produce the ad. You have to do video, audio, whatever the case may be. After that, you go into post-production. Then you go into distribution. You put it on your ad platforms. Do you see how much time and effort goes into this? And so a lot of what we spoke of there is the same amount of creative and energy and process that we put into creating content. And so here's an idea. Let's take again the Easter conference or the Easter play. Let's say you want to advertise that. Here is something that you could rather do as an idea. You could rather go and you could create, you could do interviews with the actors. Ask them, why are they doing the show? What is their background? How they're connecting to their character? Those are interesting things that people want to hear. That makes them buy into what you're going to do. You could go and spend time with the director. Tell him, who wrote the script? Where did it come from? What is his stake in the whole thing? What is the objectives? What does he want to see happen? And you don't want, here you want to get people to actually watch it. So you're not going to say, oh, we want souls saved, etc. You're going to talk about, we want people to discover the love of Jesus. We want people to find freedom. We want people to find, you talk about all the what's the word I'm looking for? We want to look for all the benefits that people are going to get out of it. So you don't share features, you share the benefits. Then you go and look behind the scenes, like who's the costume designer? What are they working on that's really spectacular that people can look forward to come and look at? That's something you can focus on. Where are there animals involved? Where are the animals coming from? All those kind of things. And so do you see there's so much creative things that you can do? And, let's have a conversation about ad creative versus content creative, right? And we spoke a little bit about that process where the same amount of energy that you put into creating an ad can go put into content. And I've shared with you some ideas. And the return on investment is absolutely phenomenal, where you rather create content than create ads. And I would say 90% of ministries just, and I don't think they do it intentionally. They do it because they don't necessarily know better. They haven't really seen that there is a different way, or a different way of doing it, or a different thing that you can do. And so that's something that you want to be wary of, is just focusing on advertising. And I see it a lot. And so you can obviously, let's talk about return on investment. Obviously, you can see that your return on investment on creative is much, much, much higher. And so as we create content, we look at creating value or giving value to the audience, right? We reverse engineer their needs. We look at what is my audience that I'm called to serve. What are the things that they need? What are their struggles? What are their pain points? And then I reverse engineer that, and I go and give them what they need. I give them value. Like I might be called to let's for instance take Uncle Angus Buchan is called to men, to helping them understand the father's heart, playing the role of the king in the house, etc. He knows what his message is. And so he is constantly talking about those things. And so that becomes very important. And, as he goes along, he gives value to men. And indirectly, he gives value to women and families because of the transformation that happens to men. Do you see what's the knock-on effect here? The butterfly effect. And so I want to quickly just open up a scripture here. It's in Hebrews, and Hebrews 10 verse 36. And let's talk about the part that patients play here. A lot of times ministries use advertising because they're impatient for the results. And so you can go and do an ad, but your results are going to be short-lived. You're going to have to keep on putting money into that objective to get the results that you're looking for. What content does, and the content that I explained, the way that you do it, that content is evergreen. It will always give you results. And people in the future, let's say 12 years from now, if your content applies to human nature, to scripture, to the word of God, you will see that people will be able to watch that 12 years from now, and they can get value from that. And so let's read Hebrews 10 verse 36 together. And I love the New Living Translation. Patient endurance is what you need now, so that you will continue to do God's will. Then you will receive what is. So what has God promised you? Right? Has he promised you souls? Has he promised you, content does amazing things. I'm working with some people where they've got an orphanage, and a big need they have. They don't need to find orphans. There's a lot of them. They need to find funding. And so I said to them, okay, create content around what you're doing, share the vision, and tell people how they can get involved. That's a great strategy. And so that's something that you can do. And that's what we've got to look at. We've got to be patient, and we've got to push, and we've got to look at making a connection with people through that. And so as I'm speaking about advertising, that is the biggest mistake that ministries make on their media channels, is they just focus on advertising. And I want to encourage you that you stop advertising events, that you stop advertising your church service, that you stop advertising things. Create a value proposition as a ministry. And with that value proposition, keep on delivering on that promise. Find out what people need, give them what they need, and position yourself. There's another pastor I spoke to a couple of years ago, and he's like, how do I impact my community? I'm like, a great strategy would be to create a community radio station, right? Or you can just start small and start a podcast. That is how you start impacting people. That is how you start impacting people. You can impact for a ministry, for instance, right? Yes, you can go to the streets and preach the gospel, and that's going to be a great exercise. Are you going to be able to do that week on week on week on week on week, day by day by day by day? Content will help you do that. And when you create content on a consistent basis, it outworks you, it outdelivers you. You have to put a certain amount of effort into it, and then it starts working on top for you. It starts working outside of what you're doing. You don't have to put as much effort into it as you used to, because now it starts to work for you. And the post that I spoke about, how do I reach my community? How do I get visible in the community? Well, exactly what I shared with you. And let's talk about a radio or podcast strategy. So get onto the local radio, right? And does your local radio station have space for a new presenter? Do you think you can do a 10-minute guest segment on your local radio station, part of someone's show? That's a great way for you to create visibility for you and for your church. Create a podcast that you promote in the area that people can go and listen, and you position yourself as an influencer. In that podcast, what do? Speak to the issues in the area. What are the things that we can biblically look at that solutions to what we're experiencing? Collaborate with the local councillors, local businesses. Tanmali Safik Shop. Go and collaborate with Tanmali. Why is she doing? So there's two things that happen there. Why is she doing why does she love Vetkoek so much? Why is she in this community, etc.? And so what happens is the story of the values are coming through, both your values. And that's where collaboration comes in. It's such a powerful thing to collaborate with other people. And it really makes a big impact in people's lives. And so that's what I said to that pastor. I said, create a local podcast or a radio show or whatever. And because it's named, let's say you've got an area and they are called Clubview, right? There's an area like that in Pretoria. Let's say you've got Clubview and you have a weekly show. I would maybe do it a daily show, but just you do a weekly show. And it's a weekly live broadcast. And it's maybe called Clubview Klets or something like that. And every day you've got someone from the community coming in, you're talking about things that happen, and you are speaking as the pastor. People are calling you pastor. And at the end, you're promoting your church and saying, hey, come and pop into our church on Sunday. We are going to share with you this week, blah, 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 blah. You see that there's content that touches the community, that brings them value. Maybe you've been talking about the rubbish in the area and what's the solutions to that. Maybe service delivery or whatever. Having conversations about the challenges that the local councillor faces, etc., etc. And so you have a community discussion, but you're positioned as an influencer because you're driving conversations about the community's interests and what touches them. So you're positioned as the pastor through this, and so you become everybody's pastor. You're not just the pastor for the people that come to church on Sunday. You become the area's pastor. You become the pastor for Clubview, for instance. Do you understand where we're going? And so you're positioning yourself as an influencer. And the second thing that happens is at the end of the show, you used to say, hey, we're having a whatever on Sunday. We have this speaker coming on Sunday. We're going to talk about this. Come and join us. Let's drink coffee together. Come and shake my hand and let's connect. Right? I'm not in ministry. I don't have my own church, so it's frustrating for me. But I believe that these are great God-given strategies for you to impact your church. Right. And so I want to go into music a little bit. I want to share that. I want to say, I want to stop here actually, because I think we've concluded the thoughts around advertising, etc. It was probably the biggest mistake the ministries make on their media channels. And I don't want to go into the rest of what I want to share with you right now, because I think that is a good landing place. Thank you. Andrea, an associate of mine, has just posted. I don't know where she got me, but thank you. Maybe she's watching my page. I don't know. But Andrea, thank you very much. Bless you. And thank you for your encouragement there. But this is where I'm going to end the. I'm going to end the show. I'm going to end the show, the broadcast here. Tuma from Uganda. Thank you, Tuma. If you let's before we finish the radio show today, for those that are on the stream, if you have any questions, please post them quickly, and then we can answer them before we go off with a live video broadcast. Because we're gonna just talk to the radio audience a little bit more, and maybe play them a song or two. So if you're on the live broadcast, on the video broadcast, you have any questions, please post them up, and we can answer you. Otherwise, we thank you so much for everyone that's been watching and that has been a part of the show up until now. And then maybe you can post in the comments, what do you think of the new direction that we're taking? Remember, we've been live broadcasting the video on YouTube. We've been doing it on YouTube. We're doing it on the Facebook group for Ministry Media Success, and also on my page, Ivan Viljoen Ministry Media Success. So if you have any questions, post them up. Otherwise, we're going to end the video broadcast. Thank you for everyone that's watching by video. I appreciate you. We tried something new today. We are doubling up, broadcasting live on video, and we are also live on air, internet radio at Rainbow Gospel Radio, Missions Radio for the World. Thank you so much for everyone that's been watching. We're going to go do music on the radio right now, so we bid adieu to the live video broadcast audience. Thank you so much for participating. I deeply appreciate you, and we are watching the comments here, so if you have any questions, please post them up even after the broadcast. If you're watching the video broadcast after this, please post questions up. We are serving the ministry community on a daily basis, and we are giving them tips and tools on how to do it. For those that are on the video call right now, Tuma from Uganda asks a question and says, what device is good for voice input? So this is not really around the advertising topic, but Tuma, your voice input is always going to be some kind of mic. So as you can see here on the live broadcast, the video broadcast, you can see I've got a mic here. I got it from, I'll send you the link because we're connected on Facebook. This mic from a local supplier called Takealot cost 660 Rand, I think. And I'm using that for everything that I do so far. It's not the best. There are but so you just got to be careful with your levels, etc. But this is what I do for simple things like your phone, etc. This is like a next level. So you should at least have a lapel mic and put that into your phone if you're doing live broadcasting on your video. And so for those that's watching by video, we are going to say thank you to you and in the broadcast there. And just a small call to action. If you have any questions, please post them up. Another thing that's really important is that if you want to learn more, we have an online platform where we teach all these things, a really deep dive, all the concepts that I share here and that we've shared before. So go to ministrymediamastery.net, ministrymediamastery.net, and get involved. You can get an annual, we call our students partners. They partner with us as we develop content for them and help them develop their ministries. So you can get an annual subscription there for a very, very affordable price, and the value outweighs that price in an amazing way. So go there and let's engage with you there so we can take you deeper. But to the video audience, thank you so much for watching. We're going to play some music and finish off speaking to the radio audience. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.